All right, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Trev. Um, huh, I guess here we go again. I don't know. This is all getting a little silly to me. Okay, so was it yesterday? The day before yesterday? Might have been yesterday. I did a video regarding this proposal by Alex and Ed uh, about this $4.16 million that was discovered or offered or whatever between a conversation between Do Kwon and Alex Forshaw. The proposal basically was to form this committee, if you will, of nine that would have access to this $4.16 million for various reasons that were outlined in the proposal. Um, Met with some resistance, to say the least. Last night I caught the last half, and probably not even half, of a Twitter space that was going on regarding this proposal. And Alex was there defending it. And there was a bevy of other names that you know, including Vegas and some other well-known people. Um, and what I wish I had caught it from the beginning. I'm sorry that I didn't. But from what I caught at the end, it basically just seemed like Alex sitting there defending it as best he could while everybody just kind of piled on. He didn't seem like he had a lot of backup. I'm assuming that along the line there were people who spoke that maybe agreed with what was going on or with the proposal itself. But I know that a lot of people have a lot of concerns about it. Happy Caddy put out a video earlier yesterday saying that he was going to just stay on the fence about it. But then I think after it sunk in a little bit, he began to formulate more of a solid opinion, which was definitely anti this proposal. Maybe pro some of the ideas, but anti the way it was proposed to actually work. Um, I don't think Vegas was all that into it. A few other people. Anyway, I'm not sure because there are just interpersonal dynamics, a lot of politicking going on, which is very sad for me to witness. And I think it's sad for the community to be witnessing. Um, but everybody wants to remain relevant, it seems. And I do truly believe that a lot of people have the community's best interest at heart. The original goal to bring back Luna Classic and make it successful. But that seems to have got lost in this sea of drama and confusion. Everybody putting out proposals for this, that, and the other thing, and then the what comes after it is not discussion on how's the best way to make that work, or if maybe that might work or might not work, but just total opposition. Okay, trying to cut things down as best as you can. And I feel like, and I don't know this for sure, I'll tell you that right now, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like a lot of it is interpersonal. Maybe the people who are proposing these things maybe didn't back some things that were proposed or thought of by certain people. And so now those certain people are going to hate everything that these people do. And it's a tug of war and a battle. And in the middle of it is LUNC and us. Okay? I feel like we're getting caught up in this internal struggle for power and for recognition, and I'm sick to death of it. And I wish that all your kids would grow the F up. All right? And cut out all this bullshit about just factions and taking sides and, all this public stuff on Medium and on Twitter and in the Discords and Telegram, with all this negativity and FUD, and I hate that word, but I have to use it, against people. All right? Hate ideas if you want. Be totally against ideas. Stop being against people. Because there's no one here, I don't think on either side, that is trying to tear down Terra Classic or make it fail. Now, some people might have more noble intentions than others. Some people might really be trying to do what they think is best for the chain. And while they're doing it, if there's something in it for them, then that's fine too. But I feel like a lot of people have lost sight of what the goal is, the community, the chain, right? Terra Classic, and are so focused, hyper focused on whether or not they are still relevant or how they can take back control and get the attention of the community. Because with those things, it's like if you're a ball player, right? A tennis player, a basketball player, whatever it is that you do. The more you accomplish, right? And sometimes you don't even have to necessarily be on top of your game, but if you're controversial in some way, if you have the community's or the audience's attention, really attention, that's when the endorsements come around, right? That's when people want you to represent their product, and there's a lot of money that comes along with that. And I feel like there's maybe some of that posturing happening, okay? Let me make sure that I am still in a position where the community knows that I'm the one who did this or I'm the one who did that, and so that as these apps come up, these D apps, and different companies come up that maybe want to get on the chain or whatever. Well, who are they going to go to back them? And if you think for 1 minute that when these companies go to some of these guys and ask them to back them, and they agree that they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart, and there's not some money exchanging or coins exchanging or tokens exchanging or whatever, you're fooling yourself, all right? Because as little as I am, I get those offers. So I think there's a lot of that going on, and it's really, really disturbing, okay? So as I was skimming through, and I don't even remember if I saw it on Twitter or saw it in the Discord or whatever, different LUNC news, I came across this Medium article, which is in relation to, or an answer to, the proposal put out by Alex and Edward Kim about forming that group, right, in the 4.16. Now, the gentleman here who wrote this Mojave Jeep 68, I've never heard of in my life. Don't know the guy from a hole in the wall. So I'll tell you right now, any opinions that I give are based on extremely circumstantial evidence, right? I don't know the guy. I can't really claim to 100% know his intentions. But when I read this, I made some inquiries to find out who he was. And the answers that I got back basically said that he is someone close to Vegas who may or may not, but it seems has been a bit of a financial backer of some things that he's been involved in. I've even heard it said to the point that he has invested heavily in Vegas. And so he has a vested interest in Vegas remaining in the limelight, and his proposals or his ideas doing well. Okay, I don't know that that's true. This is what I've heard. Okay, I don't know the guy. So, but I wanted to try to put this article in perspective and see exactly where this guy was coming from or why he was writing the article the way he wrote it. Because some things in here I think are good points, but very many things in here come off to me as rather passive aggressive, if not hypocritical. But again, my opinion, just my opinion, not telling you how to feel about this at all. Do your own research, okay? But I'm going to read through this, and it says it's like an 11 or 12 minute read. If we can skip around in some areas, I will do so as not to make this too long. But I found a lot of it pretty interesting. So let me get started. So what's the real motivation? Okay, and again, he's referring to the proposal brought by Ed and Alex. Okay. This proposal is supposedly not a proposal, but a deal that Alex made with Do Kwon to secure these assets for the benefit of Luna Classic community. The deal is being described as a take it or leave it arrangement. None of this was mentioned in the proposal. Now, this clarification or this way of looking at it, this might have happened earlier in that Twitter space yesterday that I said I only caught like the last half of. I'm not sure exactly where this came from. If it came from a tweet or something said in the Discord, I'm not sure, right? I really haven't had... It would probably take me all day to try to research this stuff and find where every one of these things came from. But anyway, so as far as none of this was mentioned in the proposal, well, if I remember the proposal correctly, it did say that, first off, I don't believe that they were doing any deal with Do Kwon unless some information has changed. Do Kwon allegedly made these wallets known to Alex. The keys are held by 6 other individuals, not Do Kwon, right? Again, unless something has changed that I'm unaware of. And what Do Kwon said, according to the proposal, according to Alex's quotes, as a matter of fact, and I would imagine that he has these conversations in text that he can produce if need be, right? But what was said was that Do Kwon said that if a system was put in place very, very similar to what the proposal actually was, that he felt that these people would be willing to turn those keys over to another group, as long as another group had, these particular motives in mind and could be trusted with them, right? So to say that none of this was mentioned in the proposal, as far as it being a take it or leave it arrangement, maybe that's a strong way to put it, but I think that it was put that if these are the motivations, then these people would be able they would probably be willing to give up power of these keys. Okay, can you look at that as take it or leave it? I guess you could if you really want to stretch it. That might be where that's coming from, but it absolutely was mentioned in the proposal. So immediately, I don't really agree with that. These assets are now being called a donation. Again, something I missed, and it might have been in that Twitter space. Donation from Kwon with oversight from this group of 9 signers, again, for the benefit of the Luna Classic community. The argument is being made that such a donation does not require a proposal or vote from the governance system or the community. Again, something major must have changed, because I thought that this proposal was going to go to Terra Station and be voted on as to whether we were going to do this or not. So now this is suggesting that it has been said that because this would be a donation from the previous 9 multi-sig signers, right? That it doesn't need to go to vote, all right? If this is indeed a donation, then I 100% agree with this stance, okay? It would be no different than Nebulio funding the terror rebels. And here comes some of the passive-aggressive language that I find, because I know that some who have left the terror rebels haven't had very much positive to say about this Nebulio funding the terror rebels situation. I don't know that Alex has been one that has spoken out against it, but I know others that have. And I know that others, that the Nebulio thing, they've claimed that the Nebulio thing was the straw that broke the camel's back and why they left altogether. So basically they're saying, well, if you're going to, he said, this Mojave Jeep is saying, if you're going to say that that's the case, then why were you bitching about Nebulio and Terror Rebels? Because it's the same thing, right? Okay, maybe that's a point, maybe it's not. I don't know. That being said, it should also be noted that at no time will the Luna Classic community agree to fund the potential legal defense of any of the parties involved in this transaction, and that is in very big, broad font. Alex made this deal with Quan. We, as the community, have no obligation to use the community pool to fund the legal defense for anyone or anything that is a negative result of a private transaction outside of the existing governance system. First off, again, I don't think that this was a deal that was done with Quan. I think that Quan made him aware of it, and then there's actually someone else that's in the middle of Alex and these other signers, right? That's what was said anyway, unless somebody has other information, okay? All right, so blah, 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 blah. In other words, no vote from the community as to the use or governance of the assets, no responsibility on the part of the community to defend you if sued. Now, when I read that part in the original proposal that of Ed's and Alex's, I didn't like it either. I don't agree with it. I agree with this. If any one of the 6 or 9, whatever it is that would be on this committee, if any one of them did something nefarious, did something underhanded, did something illegal, the way that it was worded in the proposal, their legal defense, whether the community backed them, believed in them or not, or whether or not the community are the ones who got screwed, that 4.16 million or whatever dollars, their legal defense would come from that fund. That's craziness, right? Who says that and it was in the wording, it obligated it. So no matter what legal situations came up, whether they were legit, not legit, whatever, would come out of this money. Yeah, I don't agree to that. I don't think any of us would agree to that. So that wording needs to be changed, or maybe that just needs to be taken totally out of there, because no, that's ridiculous. All right, for the sake of time, I will skip a full summary and how we have gotten to where we are today through it, though it is necessary to provide some context as to Alex's past proposals and what appear to be his motivation to continue to divide the Luna Classic USTC community with ill-conceived and self-serving proposals. Now, Alex has come up with some proposals that were not well received by the community because they had to do with the minting of actually more LUNC. Well, I can say that it took a while maybe to get through to him on it, right? But I can say that Alex absolutely listened to the community before that proposal went up and understood that the community, even though he believed in this path, the community did not want it. And so he revised his proposals to remove that, leaving the option open to try and introduce it through proposal at another time. But the proposal that he was going to submit, that was taken out of it because he did listen to the community and understood the community did not want it. So this might be a little biased, and questioning his motivations is fair, but shouldn't the motivations of the person writing this also be questioned? I think so. And I don't know that they're good motivations or bad motivations. I'm not taking a stance on that. I don't know the guy, but they should be questioned just as well. Okay. I don't believe this Mojave Jeep, when he's talking about what's the real motivation. Well, what's your real motivation? I don't know what your real motivation is. So, you're not above reproach either. A quick history of Alex and USTC Luna Classic. Alex first stepped into the spotlight on the USTC Revitalization Discord channel back in June. His strong opinions as to the path forward to repeg USTC led to many uncomfortable interactions as it was truly Alex's way or the highway. Alex has a very definite idea of how we should move forward, right? I appreciate his confidence, even if I don't necessarily agree or disagree with his path. I appreciate that he is confident and capable in his field. I find him to be very intelligent, very well spoken, and listen, I don't want somebody wishy-washy coming up with proposals or helping us to revitalize this thing. I want someone who is confident in his abilities and ideas. So I don't really have a problem with that. I think the whole Alex's way or the highway is more perception than it is reality. Where is that? To use one of his discreet quotes, when challenged, he said, "You're welcome to vote with your feet and go pursue other interests." I mean, I've heard that from a lot of people. I say it to people all the time. When people get up in my comment section and don't like what it is that I'm putting out for content, you don't have to watch it. I mean, it's whatever. What's wrong with that? In short, if Alex doesn't consider you to be as intelligent as himself, he has zero respect for you or your ideas, even if they have merit. I am going to 150% absolutely disagree with this. This person, I don't believe, actually knows Alex. This sentence right here really makes me feel like this is a little bit of a witch hunt. Everybody knows who watches my channel. I am probably one of the least technical minded, people having a YouTube channel right now or involved in crypto. I am learning as I go. I've got a lot to learn, and I don't understand so much of these things that come out, okay? But when Alex has come up with these proposals, he has actually come up to me, as some others have come up to me and said, listen, you kind of represent the everyday guy, right? And if you don't understand this, I don't think anybody else is going to understand this. And so they've run things by me, and we've gone back and forth on simplifying things to get it to the point where the whole community can understand them. I've never ever gotten the opinion in any way, shape, or form that Alex looked down on me or thought negatively of me because I didn't understand the things that he was saying. If anything, he went out of his way to try and simplify it as best he could so that I and everyone else would understand it. So I absolutely disagree with that. That doesn't speak to his character at all from my experience. Okay. As such, in the end, Alex chose to move forward with his plan to repeg USTC to $1. Actually, his plan was to do this USTN thing, not really the USTC, but that might have been one of his earlier plans, with little to no regard for what the community wanted. Just absolutely untrue. I know this from conversations that we've had directly, that he wanted to simplify it and make it so that the community understood it. And when the community did not like the whole minting thing. He backed off of it, even though he still believed it was the best way to go. He backed off of it and submitted a plan that spoke to what the community was looking for. That's absolutely false. Namely, no new minting of Luna Classic. That fact alone was a deal breaker for most of the community. Not true. A lot of the community didn't like it. Yeah, that's true, but was it for, somebody do a poll? Was it most of the community? I don't know. Alex was warned repeatedly that it was a bad idea to move forward in this manner, yet was somehow shocked at the blowback from the community when his proposal was posted. I think he was shocked by the blowback on a lot of the things that he proposes, because he's got a certain way of looking at things. He has a certain expertise, and that many don't necessarily understand, okay? And so I have noticed with him that it's a little difficult for him to put himself in the community's shoes, because he has such a wealth of knowledge and ability that it's hard for him to maybe dumb himself down and realize that everybody might not see the logic in what you're saying, right? He's getting better at it. He has a way to go that I'll agree with, okay? Unfortunately, the new minting of more Luna Classic was the one aspect of the plan that most people focused on. Right, that's true. There is much more to that story, and though Alex is now working with others to create a much more ideal plan, okay, it is worth discussing the other component of his original plan to shed some light on a major issue that most of the community are unaware of. The key component of Alex's original USTC repeg plan was to eliminate 97% of USTC purchased after the DPEG event. In simple terms, if you bought USTC at anything less than $1, your USTC would be worthless, gone, all of it. There were some questions as to if we went to this USTN thing, right? And did the repeg with the USTN, what would the USTC be worth? And I questioned that myself. Who would, if the USTC had no value at that point, what would you need it for? And Alex said, first off, that since he was going to be using the USTN to do the repeg, and that would hold the value, he had the intention of airdropping, I believe 1-for-1, if I remember it correctly, all USTC holders this USTN, okay? So whatever value that they would have had with USTC, I guess he figured they would have had with this USTN, and it left it open, and he thought that possibly Do Kwon might utilize USTC with Luna 2, right? Maybe it would have been available for them to do. So, maybe the wording on this is a little tough. Some of that's true. I don't know that all of it is necessarily true. I don't know. To understand why this is so important, you need to know that Alex currently works for a startup DeFi company and has a background in finance that interacts a great deal with venture capital and private equity firms. Okay, that's fine. Good, he's an expert in his field. One such firm Alex has mentioned is ARCA, or ARCA, they call it. Why is this important to you? Hypothetically speaking, so here we get into a lot of hypotheticals, and this is a direct effort to put negative thoughts in the minds of the people who are reading this stuff. Understand, none of this has actually happened. None of this is actually true, okay? This is, hypothetically speaking, what if this happened, or what if that happened, okay? So let me just read through this, but then I'll tell you something else that came up. Hypothetically speaking, what if ARCA had lost a great deal of money investing in stable coins before the crash? What if Alex's plan to... All right, so that sets up the stage, right? Let's just say ARCA had lost a great deal of money investing in stable coins before the crash. Is that true? Is that not true? Don't know. It's a hypothetical, right? What if Alex's plan to repeg USTC back to $1 would make Arca instantly whole and allow them to recover all of their losses? What if Alex was going to be compensated for this and didn't disclose this in his plan? So, everything starts with what if, but he says some really damning things here, assuming that you're going to kind of skip right by the what if, because this puts a subliminal image in your mind of what Alex is doing or who Alex is, okay? But this is all fictitious. This is all hypothetical. So it's really not fair, all right? Now, I spoke with Alex and I asked him, what is up with this Arca? What is this and what is this about, right? He told me that, it was something that was used, that was trying to be used against him and this, that, and the other thing. I said, okay. But what I want to know is, have you ever mentioned, because he said he has no affiliation with this Arca at all. This is what he told me. I said, well, have you ever even mentioned it? And then he told me something else. And I'll be honest, he kind of blew by that question. I'm honest on both sides, right? He kind of blew by that question. So I asked him again, okay, but I'm asking you directly. Have you ever mentioned Arca, or are you suggesting that they are saying that, taking something that you said out of context? What is it, okay? And just so that I'm fair, I want to go right now and see if he ever responded to that, because up until when I started making this video, he hadn't replied to that. He kind of, nope, and he hadn't replied to me on it, okay? When I tried to pin him down on, okay, but I'm asking you a direct question, I kind of got ghosted, okay? Now, I'm not suggesting, and I'm sure some people love to hear that because they're going to jump on that, right? I'm not suggesting that he did it because he didn't want to answer the question, right? I'm just saying that's where we left off. He never got back to that question. I can tell you that a lot of these guys, a lot of these Terror Rebels guys, or the Lunatics Token guys or whatever, in the middle of a conversation, all of a sudden they're gone. And a lot of times on a key question, right, just get ghosted. It's not always because they don't want to answer the question that I'm asking, or they don't like the direction that I'm going, right? Because I will ask, even the people I like, I will ask them the tough questions. It's not because of that. Sometimes they just get caught up and they get busy with other things, right? And I'll get, an answer back. It might be hours later, it might be days later. I can tell you that Vegas just got back to me on a question that I asked him a month and a half ago. Okay? We were having a conversation. I asked him a question, ghosted, right? 6 weeks later, like last week, at this point, what's it, like 7 weeks later, he just answered me now and apologized profusely. But this is what these guys do. So, did Alex not answer me yet because he didn't see it? He got occupied, or did he not want to answer that question? I don't know. So this whole Arca thing, I don't know how much was it true that he has some affiliation with them. He claims that he doesn't. These people, or this person, is trying to claim that he does, and then he's trying to but I don't agree with trying to put all this other stuff in someone's head. These are all hypotheticals. We don't know that any of that would ever happen. I'm not even going to finish reading them because it's ridiculous. You guys can go read it yourself. The new fund devs proposal. So here we are, yet another proposal from Alex. To save time, I'll just hit the major points. And again, these are the points as he sees them. Understand, this is this Mojave Jeep's perspective. This person who is allegedly tied to Vegas, and I don't believe that there is any love lost between Vegas and Alex. Point one of the proposal: reclaim possession of the Terra Classic Community Ethereum cross-chain multi-sig wallet, possessing roughly 4.6 million of non-Terra assets on behalf of the Terra Classic community. Use those assets to fund personalized LUNC blockchain development with robust dev and community oversight. Okay. Yes. Okay. I 100% agree that the assets should be reclaimed. However, these assets need to be reclaimed and deposited into the community pool and or under some type of community governance. Under no circumstances should the assets be controlled by 6 self-appointed individuals and 3 appointed individuals for a total of 9 effective self-appointed individuals. Alex's proposal clearly states that a vote of 5 out of 9 can trigger movement of dollars out of the multi-sig wallet. Seems to me that the control of the multi-sig wallet would always remain with the 6 self-appointed individuals. That's an assumption. This is quite possibly the most frightening aspect of this proposal, and my guess is that almost everyone is missing it. No, I don't think anyone's missing it at all. In fact, it's been brought up several times that, and it is actually the big argument. It's like, okay, if we got all this money, why shouldn't we put it into the community pool? Why is it being controlled by, a group of individuals who just say that they're the ones that should control it? Absolutely get that argument. I absolutely get that argument, okay? But I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute because I also see another side of the argument. I don't know what the government system is all over the world, but here in the United States, we elect officials federally, locally, state, right? City, town, mayors, whatever. We elect these officials because they are the people who are running. They are the people who have put themselves out there to be elected. And of the people who have put themselves out there to be elected, we try to choose the ones that the majority trusts the most. Okay? Once they are in office, we trust them to make most of the decisions. Okay? Most of the decisions as to what happens with the money that they get from the taxes, tons of different things. Can you imagine if we had a government and every single decision that needed to be made had to come up to the country for vote? It wouldn't work. We'd never get anything done. Nothing accomplished. The process would take much too long. That's why we don't have that system. That's why we elect people that we trust to make the decisions that are above our heads anyway, okay? Should we send missiles to, whoever, wherever is fighting right now, whatever? Should we allot this much money or that much money to infrastructure? Should we build out, green, infrastructure? Should we put in charging stations to try to build out electrical cars? What do we do about the welfare system? There's probably thousands of decisions that are made per day. Can you imagine if they had to go to the public to get their opinion on it all first? Never work, okay? Now, this is obviously on a much smaller scale than running a country, but it is, to me, I can see where it is the same concept. Now, if someone had come up with a proposal and said, let's say I came up with a proposal and I said, okay, I'm proposing that because we can't, we got to move fast with some of these decisions. And let's be honest, the entire community doesn't always understand all this stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to venture to say that the majority of us, a lot of these things are way over our heads with as far as the blockchain, how the blockchain runs and smart contracts and this and that and the other thing, right? Getting this stuff all working way over our heads. So let's say I put a proposal that says, I think we need to hire 9 people, okay? And I want it to be a multi-sig system where 2/3, 6 out of the 9, that would be my preference, right? 6 out of the 9 have to sign on any decisions that they make. But basically, we are trusting the decisions to these people, and we go ahead and so some people step up, people who are qualified in these areas step up and put themselves up for election, and then we vote on those people, okay? And we vote them in, and now we have that 9, and we give them a lot of power. We give them power to run the chain, to make decisions on, who are good companies to actually, jump on chain, and who's going to actually benefit LUNC, who's going to benefit the community, right? The money that is taken in the community pool or in this wallet or whatever, we give them access and trust that they are going to do the right things with it. And maybe every 6 months or so, they come up with for review. And we find that, and if we find that we don't agree with decisions that have been made, we can vote these people out and somebody else can put themselves up for election, right? What if it went that way? Would that be any different? Okay. Is it because Alex came up with it and is suggesting that he's one of the people that should be on this team, and talk to Ed and talk to Zaradar, and amongst themselves they came up and said, hey, yeah, we'll be the team, right? Is it because of the way it was done, right? If we had asked them to do it, would it be different then? I don't know. I think it might be. I think that might be part of the hang-up, right? But I have no problem at all with a group of people who are much more intelligent than the rest of us as far as this stuff goes, right? Making some of these decisions. I trust it, okay? But like I said, I would like to see something in there that says, maybe it's every 3 months it's a review. Maybe it's every 6 months or whatever. We get to vote people out if we want to. Maybe some of the power in this proposal is too much in their hands, right? Maybe they have too much of the power to decide who stays and who goes or whatever. Maybe things like that should be up to us. But as far as having a group to actually control this stuff, and make some of these decisions where they can move fast because there's only 6 of them or 9 of them, and we don't have to go through the whole proposal process and then voting for 6 weeks, and does it reach quorum. We don't have to go through that on every decision, right? That's what I believe actually makes sense. So I believe that Alex's proposal in a lot of ways makes sense. I believe that it does need some tweaking. It's not perfect. But I believe that it makes sense. And if we were to have come out and said, all right, you guys, everybody can put themselves up for, to be voted on if you want to be part of this team, and we'll vote on you. I have a feeling people like Zaradar and people like Ed, maybe people like Max or whatever, I have a feeling they would have gotten voted in anyway, right? Alex, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. He is a divisive character because he is the way that he is in some ways, right? But I don't think it's a wholly bad idea. I really don't. Okay, I respect the talent, skill, and hard work of every individual on the list above, including Alex. Okay, well, that's nice to say. That being said, here comes the what but if, right? Here comes the but, rather. That being said, under no circumstances should control of $4 million pool of assets be given to a team that appoints themselves to manage or distribute said assets with a simple 5-9 vote. Reread my response to point 1. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. I think that having a group to control those things, I think, is a good idea. Do we have a problem with the fact that these guys kind of self-appointed themselves? I can see that. So maybe there's another way to go about it and pick the right people, right? And like I said, then maybe it's a 6-month thing, right? Maybe every 6 months we do, a community review, or 3 months, whatever everybody decides on. We do a community review and decide whether each individual is making the choices that the community wants, or is, doing some shady things or whatever. And if we vote them out, we vote them out, and then we vote someone else in. I mean, it's a whole process. I think that would be a bit much to do that every 3 months. So I'm saying every 6 months, or maybe even once a year. Some people, I think, would probably think maybe a year's too much time because a lot of damage can be done in a year. So maybe 6 months is the number. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Uh, you know, call it the DJ Trev proposal. Anyway, all right. I don't know how much more of this I want to go through. I mean, you kind of get the gist of it, right? And you guys can go and read it yourself. But maybe I'll just read the summary. As the quote says, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I could type for hours and hours about what is driving this proposal. You could type for hours and hours about your opinion, your perspective on what's driving the proposal based on whatever biases you may have, okay? Which, is human. I could insert the personal attacks or screenshots from social media that Alex has taken at leadership and other members of the community who voice their concerns or who disagree with him. He's not the only one. I see those things flying all the time from everybody. And I'm not saying he doesn't do it because he has done it. And, I've even had a little issue with maybe even some of the things between him and Zaradar on Twitter, out in public. It's like, maybe you guys should work this out in private because it's not a good look and it doesn't engender confidence in the community, okay? But these insults have been flying back and forth amongst everyone, and I'll say what I said at the beginning. Grow up, kids. Stop it, okay? If you want to have these conversations, have them in private. Don't give that appearance to the community. It does not help us. Note that if you're a person of stature or power, Alex will associate himself with you for his benefit. Again, this is in summary, but this is all perspective and bias according to how this person feels about Alex. I don't necessarily agree with the majority of this. He'll commend you on a healthy and vigorous debate if you have a different point of view. He might even compliment you or concede to you if you overwhelmingly prove your point, but that's highly unusual. Maybe it's unusual that he's wrong. I mean, sometimes people have a problem with people who are really smart and right a lot, Nobody's right all the time, and I'm sure Alex has been wrong quite a bit, but, this is all personal. This is all personal stuff. And it shouldn't sway how you feel about any individual or about what they propose. But if you're paying any attention at all to what Alex has said and done on Twitter and Discord, it's easy to see that if Alex considers you to be a lesser person or less intelligent than himself, he does not respect you and will belittle or attack you if your opinion or approach differs from his. Vote with your feet and go pursue other interests. Immediately comes to mind. I mean, I don't find that. Maybe I'm missing the context, or I didn't see the whole tweet or whatever. I don't find that to be like extremely rude. I don't know. If that's the worst of it, I don't think we really have much to complain about here. If you are not a dev with skills to match his, Alex does not respect you. That's not true. It's simply not true. Even if you bring a different, better skill set to the table. If you do not have a background in finance or portfolio management that rivals his, Alex does not respect you. Not true. Even if you bring a skill set to the table that benefits the overall community. In his mind, if you're not equal to... this is just a character assassination, is what this whole thing is. And it's... I don't even know what word to use. It's improper, it's inappropriate, it's blatant, and it's obvious. People who don't like Alex will love this. People who like Alex will clearly see it for what it is. People who don't know any better might be swayed, and that's the problem, okay? That's why I want everyone to understand that this is the perspective of this individual who has whatever axe to grind that they have, okay? But I don't feel that way about Alex, and I don't agree with everything that Alex says or everything that he's proposed. But I don't feel that way about him as an individual. He's never treated me that way. I think I can speak for Matt Perry, who's also been in some of our interviews with Alex, And I think I can speak for him and say that I bet you that Matt doesn't feel that way either. And Matt has a couple of degrees in finance, but they're nowhere near what like Alex or Zaradar or these guys do, right? None of them have ever treated us as lesser than in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, they come to us to keep them in check and to help them to get their point across to the masses. Okay. So anyway, that's my opinion on this. I'm just, some of the points were good, but most of it I'm kind of not cool with. I'm really not. There was something that I had found, and I don't know if I can. Oh yeah, here it is. So this was, I mean, now here's Vegas. So this person that, I know this video is probably crazy long, right? So I'm hoping you're sticking with me. And if you are, I really appreciate you. But this is really interesting stuff. So, I'm just going to say now so I don't forget. If you haven't already hit the like button, please take a second and hit the like button. Share this video because I want everybody to see this. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Leave comments in the comment section. Agree with me, disagree with me. I love the debates. I love having the conversations. I really do. Everybody's opinion is welcome as long as you're not an ass about it, right? So anyway, this always zony person is the intermediary apparently between Alex and the current signers of these wallets, of that 4.16 million that have control of those keys, right? So this Zony person is the person that he's been talking to, all right? He revealed that in his proposal, and I believe he spoke on it yesterday during the Twitter space. And now here we have Vegas reaching out to that person, replying to that person, and whoever, everybody who wrote the tweet. Hi mate, can you please check your DMs? Thanks. I wonder why he's DMing him. Is he DMing him to form his own relationship and maybe try to get control? Again, I'm just a question. I don't know any of this for sure, right? But I'm trying to think of reasons why he might be DMing him. Is he trying maybe to think of another way to control that 4.1 million? Maybe he's got another idea for it, right? And he wants to talk to this guy. Is he trying to contact him to verify that everything that Alex has said is actually accurate and true? Is he searching for more information that maybe we don't have yet? I'm not sure, okay? But all of this stuff is turning into factions. It's all turning into this one against that one, trying to dig up dirt on this one, trying to dig up dirt on that one. The goal of building Lunk, increasing the value, and making us all rich is getting lost in all this shit. And I'm sick of it. You guys need to chill on this stuff. You really do. Because cancel culture is going to find you. Right? It's going to find you. The community is going to get sick of this bickering back and forth, and that being the focus, and not actually building the chain and building Lunk like we're supposed to be doing. They're going to get sick of it, and you're all going to find yourselves with nobody following you anymore. Okay? You're going to get canceled if you keep up, and that goes to everybody out there. I don't care who you are. That goes to all of you getting involved in all this bickering back and forth and all this character assassination. It's going to turn people away from LUNC. It's going to kill confidence. It's not going to do anything for the volume or any of the things that we're supposed to be working on, right? Agree with me if you want, disagree with me if you want, but that's what I'm saying. That's my advice, okay? All right, I'm going to leave it there because, like I said, I know this video was probably crazy long. There was no way to make this one shorter. There just wasn't. But, I'm sure there's going to be more coming up in the upcoming days that we'll chat about as far as all this goes. And it'll be interesting to watch. I hope that it goes in a more positive direction than it's been going. And that's kind of up to these individuals who are butting heads a little bit. Can't we all just get along? Great words. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.